Hi everyone, welcome back to another week of planetary weather forecast. In this video, we will first explore what is the astrology going to be like for this upcoming week, and this video will be discussing 2022 August 15 to 21st. How's the astrology going to be like? What's the energy going to be like? How can we tune into those energies and use those energy to, in different aspects of our life, and how it might affect us. And then we'll move to the second part of this video, where I'll be doing a collective tarot reading to see what message guidance we can get from the tarot cards. If this is the first time that you're here, thank you for stopping by. My name is Natalie. I hope that if you enjoy what I share and do on this channel, you will click subscribe and share this channel with people and families that love astrology and tarot as well. So let's begin. This week we have some really major transit that's happening. But first, let's look at August 17. Which is a Wednesday. So on the 17th, we have Mercury. Right now, Mercury is in Virgo, having a trine with Uranus in Taurus on the 17th. For some people in the later time zone, it is going to be 16 afternoon. Give or take. I personally think this is a very beautiful energy, especially coming after the full moon in Aquarius that we just had last week. We're probably still feeling this energy this week as well. It was a really powerful, intense, and dynamic full moon. If you want to know more about that, I did a video about our full moon in Aquarius. You can check that out and see if it resonates with you. Again, some of us will feel this energy more potent and more intensely than the others, depending on your own natal chart. So, but whatever full moon revealed to you, or whatever new insights or sudden revelations, aha moment that you have experienced last week, on today, Wednesday 17, this beautiful Mercury trine Uranus might bring in some useful and supportive energy to help you navigate what's happened or what came up for you last week. So this energy can bring in some solutions, new insights, a way to help you process what came through during the new full moon, especially if you have been thinking or processing something in any area of your life. This is a very helpful and supportive mental energy that can come in to maybe open up some new path for some, because Uranus is that energy of bringing new insight, perhaps revelations, to help you navigate, to look at things at a different perspective. So this can be very practical alongside with Mercury in Virgo, which is a practical, realistic, analytical energy to help you really process and to see what really you have been thinking or feeling about around communication as well. So this is a good day for us to do that. On 18 Thursday, we have another beautiful aspect happening up in the sky for us, and personally I think this might be the most beautiful aspect for us in August, because to be honest, August astrology was pretty challenging and intense, especially for some people with prominent energy planets aspect happening in the fixed signs houses or fixed signs planets. So today on 18, we have Venus in Leo having a trine with Jupiter, which is retrograding in Aries. So today is that typical beautiful summer fun day that we can enjoy, especially if you live in the northern hemisphere. So I'm praying for good weather on that day so we can really just relax, have some summer fun time with ourselves or people around us. Venus in Leo is that energy of shining your most authentic light, not being afraid to show that authentic light of you to the world. It's all about just being you, doing you, being fearless in going after what it is that you're passionate about, what it is that you truly love, enjoy, and want in life. Venus in Leo is that energy that is not afraid to let what they want to be known in the world. So this is all about you just being yourself, doing you, going after what is it that your heart truly wants, because Leo rules our heart space, and Venus just wants us to go after what it is that make us happy, whether it is hobby, whether it is about things you love to do, whether it is about things you stand up for, that you want to fight for, and on a personal level or on a collective level. And Jupiter is that planet of expansion, so this energy is being magnified on the day as well. So today is definitely all about you. What makes you happy? What makes you happiest? So go after that, go do that. This is definitely a perfect day for you to take yourself on a day, treat yourself, do what makes you feel happiest, go after what is it that you have been sitting on but not taking action about, right? You can think about that, what you have been longing to do, wanting to do, or say, communicate, pursue, go after. Or maybe this is that new version of you that is wanting to break out and just let the world know what is it that truly represent you. This is the day for you to debut yourself to the world if you are in the process of discovering yourself, or just want to put your voice out there, right? Put your energy out there to let the world see the real you, the most authentic you. This is also a day if you're dating, this is a perfect day to go on a date. This is a perfect day to hang out with your loved ones, your family, your bestie, maybe a night out, a sleepover, or just a day to simply really, for my in my own opinion, it's all about you. What makes you happy? Go do that, right? What is it that you truly want? Go after that. Listen to your heart. What do you want? And follow that. And on March 20th, we have a major important transit happening up in the sky. On the 20th, 3:56 p.m. Hong Kong time, or on the 20th, 3:56 a.m. Eastern time. So adjust the time according to where you are in the world. Mars is leaving Taurus and entering Gemini. Why is it so important? Well, typically Mars spends about a month and a half in each sign, give or take, about a month and a half. But this time, Mars is going to spend a good 7 months in Gemini. Yes, Mars will stay in Gemini until 2023 March 25th. Why such a long period of time? I know you probably have guessed it, because we are going to have our Mars retrograde in Gemini. This is a major transit happening because Mars is spending extra long period of time in the sign of Gemini, and Mars will go retrograde on October 30, 31st, depending where you are in the world, until next year 2023 January 12. So you do want to pay attention to the dates that I'm mentioning, and you want to take a look at your own natal chart to see which house is ruled by Gemini, because this house is going through some major renovation, and it has been going through a lot of shift, changes, and renovation over the past couple of years. So let's take a moment just to talk about your own natal chart, looking at your own Gemini ruled house, because the past couple of years this house has been, like I said, going through a lot of changes, shift, renovation, so on and so forth, and it is continue to go through that as well. So think back since 2 years ago, 2020, when we have North Node in Gemini and South Node in Sagittarius. For that year and a half, when we have North Node in Gemini and South Node in Sagittarius, we had eclipses happening in your Gemini root house. So there might have been some major fated event happen in that house. You have to see what that house is about or what that house governs, or maybe just in life in generally, something went through some major changes, transformation, or even fated change. And also we had a Venus retrograde that happened in Gemini as well, and that was around May and June in 2020. So maybe during that time, your Gemini house also went through some remodeling, or maybe this is about your money, your personal finance, and your one-on-one relationships that went through some changes during that time as well. And on a collective level, we definitely see an impact around that time. The world was in lockdown, and it definitely impact our world finance market, the way we were living. Gemini governs the way we communicate, we travel, right? It governs the internet. So we did see a lot of changes around that. The way that we use Zoom more, we work from home, we have Zoom meeting, we were more often online, whether we are purchasing stuff, learning, working, so on and so forth, communicating with each other. We definitely have a change in the way we travel because the world was in lockdown. So there's less traveling, but there's more traveling on the internet. So the way we communicate and live definitely shift. And then we did have a Mercury retrograde in Gemini that took place in 2021. I remember that clearly. It was happening in May 29 to June 22nd, because that Mercury retrograde was one of the Mercury retrogrades that I experienced most profoundly in some ways, because a lot had happened because of the aspect that was happening in my own natal chart. So that Mercury retrograde affected me probably the most out of all the Mercury retrograde. So you can also take a look at that. We also have another Mercury retrograde that was split between Taurus and Gemini earlier this year around May and June, just a couple months ago. So those Mercury retrograde might have shake up the way we think, we communicate, or perhaps some new information came in, or some new insight came in, or something might have changes in our Gemini root house also. Now we have Mars in Gemini, so your Gemini house is going through some changes and a surge of energy as well, and this time this is about Mars. So in the upcoming next 7-ish month or so, you probably will continue to experience some changes, some shifts in your Gemini house. So let's talk about Mars in Gemini a little bit. In the beginning, when Mars leaves Taurus, which is a fixed earth sign, entering Gemini, which is a mutable air sign, right in the beginning, I feel like around, right when it ingress on August 20th, for the first few weeks, we probably will feel a major energy shift, because from a fixed earth sign, Mars is going into a mutable air sign, which is a total different energy. So if you have been experiencing some slowness, stagnant, stuck energy in any area of your life or just in general. So when Mars enters Gemini, you might just suddenly feel like there's a shift in energy. Maybe you suddenly feel like there's a breath of fresh air. Suddenly you feel like maybe things will start to move a little bit. There's more space in your energy, and you might feel like things might start to pick up a little bit on speed. Things start to move, things start to be less stagnant and stuck for you. So that is a good news for us, especially if you're feeling that heaviness and stagnant energy in life general or in some area of your life. Especially you can take a look at your Taurus and Gemini root house on your natal chart. Mars in Gemini is also can be a challenging energy to work with, because that mutable air sign, Gemini mutable air sign, tends to want to just get things going, just wants to be on the go. Nothing is too slow, nothing is too fast. Gemini just want to be on the go all the time, and not everyone will be able to enjoy this energy. Not everyone is going to work with this energy well. Some might find it challenging. And even for people that like to be on the go all the time, or just like things done fast and stuff like that, having Mars, that fire, gassing up that air, is pretty combustible, right? So it is very easy to have the tendency that we are going to want to do many things in one time and feel like our energy is scattered around doing different things in the same time, opening too many tabs, having too many things going on. And while some might enjoy this multitasking energy, you can also feel burnt out much more easier during this transit. So it is very important to pay attention to your own energy. Imagine you having like 10 different sinks in front of you, and you're just opening them all at once. Then all this water will just come in one go, and you won't have time to see if any of the sinks are overflowing. What happens then, right? That water might overflow, some might be too much water, and it might be overspilling, and you might slip. That can be very dangerous, right? So really be careful with your own energy, the way you're taking action, the way you're doing things, processing things, because Gemini is about your mental energy as well. Are you putting a toll on your mind, on the way you act, on the way you take action? So be mindful with your energy. Otherwise you will feel burned out easily, or you might feel like you're just not getting any things done in the end because you have too many things going on. So always remember, take a step back, be mindful with your energy, and think it through for real before you go about and get things started in your life. And like I said earlier, Gemini is the twin, is the duality, and it is a Mercury rule sign. So this is about our mental energy. Is a mercurial sign. It can manifest in different way. It can be us having a quick mind. Suddenly we feel like we can be more tactical, we can come up with different solutions, idea, or maybe new insights will come in to help us move through whatever that is happening in our life. That can be a very helpful energy. It can be also Gemini is also that witty, playful energy. So maybe you will be playful, and you might even get a little bit competitive and outsmart your competitors. If for example, if you're in a competitive working environment, but also be mindful of that, because when you use that energy in a light attribute, these things can happen for you. There can be friendly competition, there might be friendly discussion or debate, and it might help you to brainstorm, come up with idea solutions in any settings in your life. But when it's too much, or when you use that energy in a shadow attribute, this can be a manipulative energy. It can be too competitive, so watch out for that as well. And when you think about having Mercury and Mars, which is a action energy and a mental energy combining together, this is really some sharp mind with fiery and maybe sometimes even volatile action energy, right? It's very combustive. It's very combustible when I think of it. So it reminds me of lawyers and engineers and so on and so forth. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that those people are like not nice or anything, but you can think about that. Well, in one way, they can be super skillful, they can be they execute their plans really well, they are tactical, they come up with strategy and tactics to win their cases, to execute plans and so on and so forth. They're very effective, they can be very practical and successful. But it can also be on the other way around. It can be quite argumentative, right? It can be manipulations with the mind and with the communication, because we're talking about a Mercury rule sign, Gemini, right? So when it used in a shadow attribute, it can be verbal abuse, it can be argument, it can be manipulation, it can be hostility and volatility with thoughts and communication. And that can be very dangerous if you're not using that energy carefully, or you might experience people using those energy in that way towards you, or to others, or on a collective level. So do watch out for that. When we talk about Mercury, we also talk about technology and internet and media, social media, all this mercurial stuff, right? So during this Mars and Gemini transit, there might be some breakthrough, right? On a good side, we might experience breakthrough in those areas. But also, when they manifest in a shadow attribute, this can be cyber crime, cyber warfare, or hacking. So there's a possibility to see that on the news as well. So also be mindful when you're on those platforms. Like I said, everyone will always experience and feel all this transit differently, just like how our own natal chart are different from each other. Our Mars placement in our own natal chart is also different, so it will create different aspect with the transit, and it will affect us individually in a different way. And at a collective level, yes, we might see some of the things I mentioned before. So you can also see how it can play out in your own natal chart. So I invite you to take a look to see which house does Gemini rule, and if there's any point or planet in that Gemini ruled house, because things are, when Mars enter that Gemini house of yours, you might experience a surge of energy, because Mars is that fiery warrior, let's go, let's do this energy, and this is going to be there for you for the next 7 months. And Mars is that spicy, fiery, and hot-headed, heated energy, just like how we take food, right? For example, chili, right? So Mars, fiery, heat, and hot, right? Everyone's tolerance of heat is different. In the beginning, you might be like, ooh, it's tasty, adding some spice in your food. Oh, this is good. It in the it kicks up the flavor, it makes the dish tastier, and you're enjoying it. But as you continue to eat it, the heat is going to build up, right? It might get spicier and spicier, and some people love it, but some people will be their tolerance is lower. They'll be like, oh my god, this is getting too hot, I'm sweating, I'm like crying, I need milk, and you find yourself not enjoying it anymore. You might find yourself in pain with the heat. So that's the way we can see how this transit play out for some of us. So do beware of that energy. And sometimes whenever we have Mars entering a sign, it's unpredictable, right? In good and bad way. And it might not be like a straight line for a Mars transit, especially we have a Mars retrograde that is happening in at the end of October until next year January in 2023. So the chances are this house that is ruled by Gemini in your own natal chart is going to experience some bumpy ride, like a little roller coaster. Sometime let's say before it goes retrograde, before at the end of the October, you might experience that first high, right? Initially, like I said, enjoying the heat, the taste of it and stuff like that, and it builds up. And when we reach Mars retrograde at the end of October, chances are things can manifest in different way. For some people, the heat might build up to a level that you no longer enjoy. It might cause uncomfortable feeling. It might ask you to take a step back, stop what you're doing, right? It's no longer the goal time. This is a time to retreat, to come back, to re-strategize, to rethink. We're in a Mars retrograde. Some people might feel the need to do so. Some people don't like it, might feel frustrated, restricted. Maybe things are not going your way, things are getting bumpy, the path is not straightforward. You might have some hiccups coming up. It is asking you to slow down, to rethink, maybe pay attention to what happened during this first transit in August when Mars entered Gemini. See what happened. What kind of actions are you taking? Is there anything you're starting, doing, processing, or acting towards, going after? Chances are when we go to Mars retrograde, it will ask you to slow down, to come back and think it through. Is this something that you want to continue to go after and take action upon to continue to do it? Maybe there need to be some readjustment, changes, shift that's happening for you. Or maybe this is the time when you need to pull back the power and slow down to readjust and rethink if you are going to the right direction. Or is this time to shift gear and change direction? This is also a time when you want to rehydrate, refuel, all the RE words when we have retrograde, right? It doesn't have to be bad. It can be just you taking a break, process what's been happening, regroup, so that once when Mars go direct, you can press on the gas pedal, you can hit the goal and continue your journey. So you can see that in that way as well. The reason I'm telling you all these is to prepare you for this upcoming longer than usual Mars transit in Gemini. So you can definitely take a look, and if you have any question, feel free to ask them, schedule a reading with me, and we can go through that with you as well. Lastly, on 21st Sunday, we have another aspect happening up in the cosmos, which is Mercury in Virgo having an opposition with Neptune in Pisces. While Mercury in Virgo is a analyst, if you watch my previous my last week video when Mercury entered Virgo, this is a analytical energy. It's very precise, meticulous, and particular. This is helping us to break down our thinking process into bite-sized pieces so we can really get organized with our thoughts, our communication, in a more practical way, right? But today it is having an opposition with a total opposite energy, Neptune in Pisces, which is about dreamy, which is about our subconscious mind, our intuition. It is not logical and analytical at all. It is a total opposite, and they're sitting opposite of each other. So today, some of us might feel like there's a brain fog, there's a push and pull of what is logical and what is subconscious, right? They are having a clash. So our mind might play a little trick on us today. So this is not the day to make any major critical, logical decision or communication. This is a day to go easy on your mind, go easy on yourself. But this is a good day to actually shift gear from that Mercury in Virgo and drop it back down to your intuition and your subconscious mind. Because the thing is, today we have two very different energy opposite of each other. So you just want to take the back seat to see what comes up for you and not react right away, but to be responsive, right? Responsive is not going to reaction right away. It's listen with your heart, think it through, and let your intuition do the work. So if you are a very logical and analytical person, today don't jump the gun, don't jump to conclusion, just chill, be a bit more lenient to your thinking process and the way you communicate. And if you are those imaginative people, you have spiritual practice, today is a perfect day to just connect with your intuition and work with your subconscious mind. Opening up in the sky for us this upcoming week. Now let's look at our tarot reading. Hi everyone, welcome to the second part of this video where I'll be doing a collective tarot reading to see what message, guidance, and advice that the tarot cards have for us for this upcoming week, August 15 to 21st, 2022. Remember, this is a general reading. It will not resonate with everybody, so just take what resonates and leave the rest behind. If you want a personal reading, my information are in the description box below. Feel free to email me or follow me on my social media, Instagram, and contact me through there as well. Let's begin. All cards have been meditated and shuffled already. And let's see what is the message the collective need to know for this upcoming week, August 15 to 21st. Okay, let's look at our spread here. As this is a general reading, I am picking up a few different messages, so I'll talk about them one by one. So this week, I see a lot of Gemini energy, even though there's actually no Gemini cards here. But there's this back and forth, there's this a sense of confusing energy here for us, which is makes sense because, as I mentioned earlier in the astrology part, Mars will be entering Gemini on the 20th, and for some people this is going to create some confusing energy because suddenly you have choices. Suddenly you have to face different choices that you need to make. So I see that happening this week for some. So let's talk about it. The first message I get, let's talk about that confusing energy that I'm seeing first. I see that maybe some of you have been experiencing some confusing energy in some area of your life or just in life general. Maybe a lot of things is happening. You feel like your energy is gathering around. You feel like you have a hard time to focus. And the cards here are to remind you that when you find yourself in this energy, it is really necessary though to take a step back, because when you are feeling your energy scattering around, you feel like you can't focus, or you feel like you have to make a decision, but there's more than one options around, you don't know what to choose. Spirit is asking you to take a break. Whenever you feel your energy is in that state, it is important to retreat back, to just break yourself away from that situation or that moment, and just to tend to yourself. Because when your energy is scattered, you won't be able to make a decision, or you won't be able to communicate properly. So to avoid conflict, to avoid misunderstanding, and to avoid regretting the decision you're making, it is very important for you to retreat back this week if you find yourself in that energy. And know that, yes, even though maybe people are rushing you to make that decision, to communicate with you, they can wait. You don't have to do everything on people's term, on people's timeline. What about your own timeline, right? When you're feeling confused, when you're not ready, how can you make a decision that's the best for you or both of you, so on and so forth. So if you find yourself in that energy, it is important for you to just simply break away, to go back to yourself, tend to your own garden, let your mind take a break. Just like this Sunday, right? That that Mercury opposing Neptune energy. Some people, you might find yourself in confusing energy this week. Maybe there's too many choices, too many options to choose for. You don't know what is the best for you, and you don't want to get into some conflict or arguments or misunderstanding with people. So what's the best way to deal with it? If it's possible, just break away. If it's not, then ask, can I please have more time? Can we come back to it later? I don't want to rush into a decision this week. Let me think it through. I'll get back to you next week. For some people, the second message that I get is that once Mars enters Gemini, you will feel that there's something you want to get going, get moving. Maybe there's something you have been waiting to do. Maybe you want to start something, and there's this rush of energy that's coming in for you to allow you to really to start to get your groove back, to get things going, to get things moving, and you will feel like suddenly you know the sense of direction you want to head towards. And maybe that's what happened the past week. The full moon in Aquarius bring in the clarity you need, bring in the truth that you have been waiting or questioning, maybe the answers that you need, and now you have a clearer picture. You know what it is that you want in maybe a particular area of your life, or just in life general. You know the direction you want to head towards. You know what it is you want to get going. Maybe there's some decision that you need to make, you're ready to make now, and maybe you're ready to start something. Maybe this is about the work. Maybe you're ready to, maybe you quit your job and now you know which direction or which path, career path you want to be on. Maybe you're starting a new journey and now you're getting the direction that you know you want to head towards. And the cards here are telling you that it is good that you know where to head towards now. Now this is about not rushing, but gaining your momentum and start heading towards that direction, but also knowing that there's an element of flexibility that is needed, because chances are whatever you are starting, whatever you're heading towards around this week or the next couple of weeks, there are chances that you might need to make some adjustment, or you might have to have a slower period of time where things might happen differently for you down the road. So give yourself a heads up that flexibility is needed when you down the road. So that's what I'm getting from the card as well. And this week, another message is coming in that this week, a group of you are probably going to feel a bit better. I think life has been hard on you for the past maybe weeks, or even for some it's longer period than that. I feel like you have been struggling a lot in a particular area of your life. Maybe there's some misunderstanding, miscommunication going on with certain people in your life. For some, this is about friendship. For some, this is about work. For some, this is about relationships. This is more a relationship, I mean, any kind of relationship message. And I feel like there has been maybe fight, misunderstanding happening. And this week, I feel like you guys are ready to communicate again, ready to either to mend things, ready to talk again, ready to come back together to see how both of you can maybe pick up the pieces, you know, or maybe this is time for you to just simply come back and peacefully part ways and have this closure, right? But for some, this is about how can you come back and work together, make things work, more of a celebration energy going on. Maybe you guys took part, you know, with the argue, with the conflicts, and now finally you guys can see each other points of view. This week is about you guys coming back together, you know, oh, now I see your point of view, now I get it, how can we hash things out, how can we make it work, how can we come back together and make the relationship better than before, how can we move on to the next steps, to the next level, so on and so forth. So that's a beautiful energy that you can, you know, come back and make peace and to make things work. But for some, this is maybe simply for you to now to make peace with yourself so that you can both move on, right? So this is what I see here from the tarot reading. Now let's look at the oracle cards to see what additional message advice we can get. I'll take all the cards out first and we'll talk about them one by one. Alright, all the messages are here, so let's look at them one by one. Wow, from the Moonology, we have the full moon in Aquarius, which just happened last week, and we are definitely still feeling the energy this week. And like I mentioned earlier, this week, you know, maybe last week full moon did reveal something to you, right? It can come from external world. Maybe you find out some truth, you find out what you need to know, you find clarity. It can definitely come from within, an aha moment, revelation that you have this week. It can help you navigate your journey better, to know the direction that you want to head towards, or maybe truth is being revealed so that you can talk it through with the other party, or to make peace, or to communicate with yourself. And then we have new moon in Gemini, think it through. Yes, we do have a strong Gemini energy coming in this week at Mars enter Gemini, and this is a very important message. Think it through. It is Gemini is a very mercurial mental energy, and having Mars in that for this next 7 months, it is very important for us to remember to always to think it through, right? Sometimes our mental energy will take a toll on us, and we can be very stressful, we can feel stressed, we can feel a nervous breakdown even, because Mars is this very fiery warrior energy, and putting that energy on our mental, our mind can be quite harsh sometimes. So remember, be gentle with yourself as well with this energy. And when it feels overwhelming, or if you're feeling anxious, just take your time to think it through before you respond. And then we have this new moon in Taurus energy. Know your worth. Exactly. I feel like these energy goes hands in hands. Always remember, you know, what is it that you truly want? Think it through. Be real, you know, and that know your worth. You do not have to compromise if it's going to ask you to sacrifice your worth or your truth or your authentic self, right? We're having Venus in Leo, which is this energy of knowing your worth and being real about it, not to be afraid to show your authentic light, because there's no it's not right to dim your light for others, right? So this message is definitely coming through strongly for us. And from the spirit animal deck, we have Nightingale Spirit. Love is all around. I feel like this is a message for us in general. During this Mars transit in Gemini, things can get a bit tough sometimes with this energy. It can be very overwhelming for some, because not everybody like to be on the go all the time. It put a stress on our mental energy, on our physical energy as well. So just be look at this. Dear Spirit, bring a gentle touch. Be gentle with yourself and others around you. When in doubt, put in a little bit more love. Think it from the perspective of love, right? And lastly, we have Spider Spirit makes your dream real. I think this is also regarding to that Mars energy, right? That Mars just wants to go and make things happen. And this week also, other than Mass, let's take a break and look at that Venus trine Jupiter in energy, right? That is a beautiful day to really make your dreams real. Even you can make your dreams real in one day. It doesn't hurt to have that thinking in your mind, right? You can start take tangible step towards it. But that is definitely a beautiful day for you to tend to your own garden, look at what is it that you truly want in your life, and start making a plan and tangible step heading towards it, right? When Mars is in Gemini, you might feel less stagnant or less stuck. Things might start to things might start to pick up, for some people, things might speed up as well. So definitely that can be a time for you to start taking those steps to make your dreams real. And then we have, from this oracle card, we have all paths lead home. Inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. This is all about listening to that inner voice in your heart, which is so right on point. Venus is in Leo right now. Leo rules our heart, and Venus is that beautiful energy to ask you and invite you to really come back to your heart space, to listen to that inner authority, intuition, the voice that is inside you. It is so easy for us to turn external, to look for solution, answer, opinion, blah, 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 from the outside world, from the outside opinion. But what about yourself? When in doubt, why not coming back to yourself? Why not coming back to your heart to listen to that voice that is within you, that knows you the best, that knows what it is that you truly want and what you need? Listen to that voice. That is the voice that leads to your heart and eventually lead to your home, which is within you. Sometimes you have to remember you have everything within you. You just need to be quiet enough to listen to that voice instead of scattering your energy outwards and trying to grab and seek and look for answers from external world. So I think this is also really right on point for us as well. And let me just share the guidebook message here with you as well. It's normal to look to the external world for answers and guidance. What's revolutionary is turning your gaze inward. You're being called to source your guidance from within, to study the terrain of your inner landscape, to develop a reliable relationship with your soul. The more time you spend connecting with your soul, the deeper the connection will become. The challenge for empaths is staying connected without cutting off from the world. The best way to do this is to develop a daily practice that helps you keep checking in, to draw on the wisdom within and let that be the authority in your life. If this card appears, you may be called to develop or switch up your spiritual practice, to get in the habit of turning your gaze within, getting centered for the day before consuming anything from the outside world, to start from a feeling of at-homeness, and throughout each day to find a simple way to keep coming home. This doesn't mean switching off from the realities of today's world. We need as many conscious people as possible living with their eyes wide open. Rather, it's a call to start your day from a place of connectedness, grace, and devotion. So when you go out into the world and when you let the world in, you do not do you do it from an unshakable state of being, a state where you draw your strength, authority, and guidance from a place deep, deep within. So yeah, this is about you listening to your inner voice, right? Lastly, from Self Oracle, we have needs. Do you need more time to yourself, a break from thinking too much, a kind encounter with a friend? Your needs matter, and it's time to honor them. Oh my God. See? There's a lot of card that is asking us to look within, to take care of ourselves, to listen to our own voice, to be real, know your worth, make your dreams come true, bring a gentle touch, attending to our own needs, listening to that inner authoritative voice that is within you, which is our intuition. And here, this is also about making our dreams come true by listening to our heart. This is about us knowing what is it that we truly want and head towards that direction. So there's a lot of me energy, and I'm not surprised because we're still in Leo season. We're in the last week of Leo season. This is about you really listening to yourself, to that voice within your heart. What kind of life do you want for yourself moving forward? Use this Leo season to anchor back into your heart, to listen to that voice within your heart. This is your life. You're here to live it. How do you want to live it? What do you want? Be real about it and know your worth, that you're worthy of what it is that you want in your life, and start going for it. I hope this message helped. I feel like this is a very powerful message this week as we are ending Leo season, to really come back to your heart, come back to yourself, look at your life, what it is that you want, and go for it. Alright, hope this message helped. Wishing you all a good week ahead. Feel free to leave me a comment below if you want to, or contact me if you want a personal reading, and I'll see you here again next week. Bye!